Hey everybody, it's Sam here. Thank you for watching today. So I'm going to show you how to make this large stepper card using my lovely little Santa puppet here. I just adore him. I think he's so sweet. This is an 8x8 size. It will fit into one of my 8x8 box envelopes. Lots of people ask me to make larger stepper cards, so hopefully you'll enjoy this one. And if you haven't seen a stepper card before, this is how they look. Now there's hundreds of different ways to do stepper cards, and I do have a playlist and I'll pop that up now. But they're really fun. You've got space on the back there to write your message, or I've actually popped that on the back just to give it a bit more stability. You've got all that space inside there as well. So if you like making big cards, I know in the UK we do like a big mantle pleaser. I remember as a child it was like the bigger the card the better. It stands up really nicely and you've got heaps of space there to be able to embellish and decorate more, but I think this looks fab. So let me show you how to make it. Okay, so I'm going to use the Santa from the Santa and Rudolph die set. You can see all of the Santas on the left, all of the Rudolph is on the right, and I have a video showing you how to put these together, so check that out because it explains it a bit more in detail there. And what I like to do when I've received them is I pop them onto my magnetic sheet. So this is Santa and then here's Rudolph. Okay, but Santa's the one we're using today. Then I've got the main mechanisms. This is a Snow Angel card based mechanism and the papers. So I'm using this one here today. That's It's Only a Puppet paper pad, and then the sentiment stamp set and the embossing folder as well. Okay, so first of all, because this is going to be a larger stepper card, you want to get yourself 2 pieces of cardstock. One is 8x8.5 and the other one is 8x8. Okay, so first of all, with the piece of 8.5x8, along the 8.5 side, you're going to score at 8 inches all the way down. Then rotate so that 1/2 inch is at the top, and you're going to score at 1 all the way down to 6.5 inches. Lay your ruler down there if you don't have any markings on the side, but just all the way down to 6.5, and then at 7 inches all the way down to 6.5. Okay, then pop it back on that longer side again with that 1/2 inch tab on the right hand side, and you're going to score at 2 and 3.5 just down to the score line. So 2 and 3.5 just to that score line. Then flip it and score again at 2 and 3.5. Don't worry that the score lines are now opposite, because then you can just flip it back and then just go over them. But it just means that way you've got them perfectly where they need to be, rather than trying to hover your stylus or lay a ruler down. You might go off track. At least that way you know they're exactly where they need to be. So that's on the 8.5x8 piece. And then on the 8x8 piece, you want to score at 1 down to 6 inches. So it's the same scoring, it's just slightly different because you don't have that extra 1/2 inch here. But 1 inch down to 6 inches, and then 7 inches down to 6 inches. Okay, and then again pop it on the other side, and you're going to score at 2 and 3.5 just to that score line. So 2 and 3.5, flip it, 2 and 3.5, and then back again and just go back over like so. Then cut these pieces here to decorate. So I've got this strip which is 1 3/4 by 7 3/4, and then the pattern paper is 1.5 by 7.5, and then these are to decorate the sides. So this is 3/4 inch by 4.25, and then the pattern piece will be 1/2 inch by 4. You'll want 2 of each, and I've used my favourite holographic cardstock for that. Okay, so what you want to do now is you don't need to do any burnishing really, it's just mainly cutting. You'll burnish the score lines after. So this is the 8.5x8 piece, and you can see I've got the 1/2 inch line there. You're going to cut down both the sides all the way down to the very end of that score line, like so, and then you can just fold that piece away. And then again on this side, just cut nice and neatly all the way down, and just fold that one away again. You then want to fold that 1/2 inch tab on all of these pieces, and then this last score line is going to be a valley. So that's a mountain and then a valley, and this should run nice and parallel with the rest of the card, and then again like so. So you want something like that. So you can already see the side of our stepper. All these tabs should be folded over away from you. With this one, we just want to cut again down those 2 score lines, and then just fold again away from you so it's a mountain, and then these ones will become a valley. And again, just make sure it runs nice and parallel with the rest of the card, like so. This is going to be the back. So next I want to add, I'm going to use my quick grab glue, and I'm going to attach these ones first. So you want to add glue to both of these little tabs. Don't worry if it feels a little bit flimsy at the minute. Once you add the rest of it and all the mats and layers, it's going to start to strengthen. Then grab this one, make sure the folds are both inside. If I bring this out, it's going to be easier to do it this way. You're going to stick it just over the tab. Again, keep everything nice and parallel. I'll hold it up once it's all together so you really get a feel of how this shape all comes together. And then again, like so. So now you should have something like that. What's going to happen with this piece is you're just going to attach it to that last tab. But you can see now, once these bits fold in, they've got your pattern paper on, how you've got that big stepper. So I'm going to use the cloud because this is just a bit longer and I don't want it to warp. So just going to run that glue along the top. I just have to hold this in place for a little bit longer. And then just pop that one on there. Like so, and I'm just going to lay the whole thing flat, and that will be an 8x8 size now, and that will fit into one of my larger box envelopes. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that to one side now, let that dry a bit more. Next, you want to start putting together your puppet and the mechanism. So this is again, that's set. So you'll get this large one here, which has the holes and the slot for the mechanism. And this is the decorative piece that you can just make more creative cards with. So it has this aperture that will cut out. You have the snow angel as the negative, but don't get rid of that, because you can create fun cards like this. So that's using the negative space and using the embossing folder on it. And you can see you can still, work it as normal. And then if you just want to use that frame with some acetate behind, you can make this effect here. Again, it all still moves because you just cut the other die with it. And again, I'll have all the videos up showing you these different ways to use it. And you can also turn it into a shaker card there as well, which looks really nice. So all we're going to need for this card is this one here, and you'll see I've already die cut that one, and this is using the Centura Pearl Crafter's Companion cardstocks. Really nice. This is the snow white with a hint of silver, I think it is. Then you want to grab the embossing folder, and you're going to pop it in here, and you just want to lay it down. And then when you close this, just make sure that the slot here sits between the head here, the bottom of the head, and where the bend is on the wings, as near as you can. You can see there, that's all now nice and straight. So I'm going to run that one through. Okay, and then you can see now we've got that really fun embossed detail of the snow angel. You then want to die cut this one here, which is the pull tab die, and I've die cut that twice just so it's nice and strong. And then I've got my Santa here and my sentiment. So you want to get yourself 8 brads. So I'm going to use these white ones here. If you've got all different colours, try and get a colour that's going to match the puppet. Get 4 of those, and then the other ones can be random colours because you don't see any of them. Okay, so then you want to take your pull tab at one of the brads, pop it through the end hole on the leg there, and then through the bottom right hand side there, and just open that up. And then again, I'm going to grab this one, pop it through like so, and then take this one here, and then the last one here, like so. Okay, and you should have something like that. Next, you're going to pop it through the top there. Don't worry if it all moves around at this point. Next, you're going to grab another brad and pop it through the next hole, and just move it around until it lines up with the other hole that's on here. So there'll be 4, 1 for each limb. So there's that one. Again, just open the brad, and again with the legs, each time just opening up your brad or your split pin like so. Now you'll see it moves up and down. If you feel it's a little bit tight, what you can do is what I've shown in my Fun at the Fair and my swing cards. Pop the brad under and then open up the split pin, and it will just then allow whatever's attached just to really kind of swing, dangle, rather than actually be more like secure against the card, if that makes any sense. But have I done that one there? Yeah. So now that's much looser. Okay, next you want to grab some foam pads and you want to double them up. So I've just cut a little bit. I've cut one of these squares in half and then just doubled them up. And you're going to stick this either side of the pull tab. So I'm going to pop one there. You want to make sure that when you bring it up and down, it doesn't hit it. That's just fine there. It's not affecting the mechanism at all. And you want it as close to that as possible, again, without touching it. That way you don't see it. So again, I've just got 2 there. And then I'm just folding that back just to double it up. So that's going to go next to it there. And then I'm going to just cut those in half. And you want to have 2 more for supporting the head at the top. So again, just taking that off, and I'm going to stick this one just above the slot like so. Next I'm going to take all the backing off, and then you want to just kind of hover the body over the top first, just to see where it's going to kind of cover. Most of them will cover all the brads, the Sugar Plum Fairy and the, I think the Elf and the Gingerbread Man. You may see them, well you definitely will on the Fairy, it's just part of the feature because of her delicate arms. That's why you would want the outside brads to be a closer colour or match what you're putting together. But with this one here, you can see it covers it all up. But what you want to do is make sure you've got it down. You want it to, the bottom of the puppet to sit with the bottom of it, of the mechanism underneath. That way you know it's never going to be seen. And if I just kind of hold that there, just so you can see, when I bring that up and down, you see it's all hidden like so. So again, just make sure it's down, and then you can stick everything else down. Just make sure he's nice and straight. Stick it on the top there as well. And now you can see that's all hidden behind him. I'm then going to stamp my little pull. So I've just used the pull from one of my older collections. And lots of people have these. If not, you can write the word pull. You can pop a little arrow on there. It's entirely up to you. You might want to put a bigger circle on this, so it's like the North Pole, which I've done on a couple of the cards, which looks really nice. But now we've got that all ready. Then I'm going to flip it over, pop some foam. It's best to put foam on this. You don't have to, but I think it just allows those brads to move freely, whereas if they're just against the card, it could end up wearing the cardstock away over time. And if, you know, people like to keep your cards, it could end up just kind of scratching through, and you don't really want that. I'm also actually just going to pop another little bit in the middle there just to stop it dipping. I'm going to go back to the card. Before I take the backing off of that, you'll see that's going to sit perfectly in the top half, and then this piece is going to go along the bottom, and those are going to be stuck either side. And then I have my sentiment, which is going to go along the bottom there. So I'm going to take the backing off, get that stuck down, and stick all of these down as well. Okay, so there is the finished card. How cool does that holographic cardstock look? So it's really easy for the person to know what to do. They've got that fun interactive element there, and then all that lovely detail on the front. I've added this piece here, which is 7 3/4 by 5 3/4. So you could have that as your space to write your message, but I've popped it there as a, you know, just offers, it just adds a bit of stability. You've obviously got all that space inside there to write your message if you prefer. Or if you do want to keep your message on the back, you could pop a stopper in there if you're worried it's going to kind of fall open, but it's got a lot of weight to it, and this one's holding itself really well. I think it's going to be fine on, you know, any surface, but like I said, if you do, then just pop a stopper inside. But I think it's come together really nice. I love that nice kind of focal point there with the puppet, and then the sentiment at the bottom. And of course, you've got room, you can embellish and decorate this further if you want to as well. So as always, thank you for watching today. I'll pop all of the product that I've used today in the description box below. Check out the videos popping up now. There'll be the puppet one, so it shows you how to put the puppets together, and another card style using this collection. And also, if you haven't subscribed and you've enjoyed today, please hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and then you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.